This is Nick.
This is Jack.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday, TBOY Tuesday, September 3rd. And today's pod is the best one yet. It's a TBOY.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
Hey, society. Jack and I don't care that you can't wear white after Labor Day, don't we, Jack?
We're both rocking white today.
I love it. We're rounding up on this thing. Nothing wrong with a little white after Labor Day. I think it psychologically enhances the summer. It extends the summer, Jack.
It also reflects the light.
It does.
So we're helping the fight against climate change.
Yeah, wait till you see my boxers, Jack. But in the meantime, 3 stories for today's show. What have we got on the pod, Jack?
For our first story, Capri Sun is making a huge controversial pivot from juice pouches to juice bottles.
But Capri Sun might actually be the most feel-good story to ever come out of post-war Germany.
We're excited to tell it. For our second story, it's Intel. This computer chip company stock fell to the lowest level in 11 years.
So Intel is getting inspired by Nike.
And our third and final story is Boar's Head.
Boar's Head.
My dad's favorite deli meats is causing the biggest food-based health scare in years.
The way Jack and I see it, Boar's Head is having its Boeing Moment.
I had a couple fumbles. Are we okay?
I think you're okay. You fumbled it, but you never really dropped the ball, Jack.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
Fantastic mix of stories, despite Jack's audio bumbles.
I am slurring my words a little today.
You're doing great. You're doing fantastic.
Well, Yetis, welcome back to work.
Yeah, welcome back to work. Hello from your office to all the besties out there.
The Tuesday after Labor Day is the unofficial start of back to work season, but there's one controversial question at every office cooler.
Can you wear shorts?
Shorts. Are they acceptable? For men, for women, for interns, for anyone. Are shorts acceptable office attire?
Because it is still technically summer. We're in the middle of a heat wave, baby.
It's 100 degrees. It's humid as hell. Even your hair is sweating right now.
One sec, Jack. I'm schwitzing. My shirt is sweating. My shirt is sweating.
So, according to the Wall Street Journal, offices are arguing about the acceptability of shorts.
Get this. In one LinkedIn survey, 34% of American offices now allow shorts.
And according to a Harris poll, companies have dropped their dress code. 50% of them have dropped the dress code since the pandemic.
And Jack, since it's hot as sriracha out there, what should be a company shorts policy?
If you're schwitzing, are shorts professionally acceptable?
We're talking Bermuda shorts, Capri shorts, or short shorts. Are shorts professionally acceptable?
Your office definitely forbids exposed midriffs.
Right.
What about exposed ankles?
Well, Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style, and fashion critic Tim Gunn says no, you cannot wear shorts.
Personally, I don't recommend it because your office air conditioning probably makes the place freezing.
You're right, Jack. Tim Gunn would say you can't make it work.
But we're curious what you think, Yetis, on the first day back to work.
So, besties, Jack and I want to know for T-Boy Tuesday, shorts at the office, yay or nay, bullish or bearish, akya or niche.
Let us know in the comments. Extra credit if you're wearing zip-off pants that turn into shorts.
Cargo shorts always work. Jack, let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, one of the most iconic drinks in history is going through a transformation, and that company is Capri Sun.
We're so glad we're covering Capri Sun for the first time.
Oh, this was so much fun to research.
This company has a lot of innovation and some wild history.
Now, Yetis, to sprinkle on some context here, you could not watch a Nickelodeon episode of Rugrats without 6 ads for Capri Sun when we were growing up.
You could not watch 2 hours of The Price is Right because you were homesick from school and that's all that was on without 2 Capri Suns in your hands.
Capri Sun, the most 90s core product in the history of the 90s.
Remember the commercials on TV?
Oh, yeah.
The children drinking them became liquid metal. Like the bad guy in Terminator 2?
Yeah, or like Alex Mack in the Nickelodeon TV shows.
True.
If you turn to metal after a Capri Sun, you may want to call a doctor, if not your mother.
I haven't had one for years, but you could get a tropical punch juice drink served in a metalish pouch thingy.
If you didn't have a Pacific Cooler flavor on the Playdate, I was canceling the Playdate, Jack.
The best part was they gave you a plastic straw, which you had to really precisely punch through the hole, and don't squeeze it too much or it's going to splurge all over you after the puncture is made.
Oh, I can't get the straw in. I need help. Oh,
Builds character.
But Yetis, here's the surprise. Capri Sun is a bigger business than you realize.
9 factories produce 6 billion pouches of Capri Sun every year, generating $2 billion of revenue across 100 countries.
Now, Jack, could you sprinkle on a little delicious context over there for us?
That's twice as big a business as vitamin water. It's equally as big as Coke Zero. And Nick, get this, it's half as big as Gatorade. That's how big Capri Sun is.
Sit down, stand up, and Mom, I still need help with the straw.
But here's the news. We mentioned it last week. For the first time, Capri Sun is selling their drink in bottles, not just in their famous pouches.
Honestly, we were kind of disappointed when we heard the news.
Because the pouch is the product.
Yeah, the packaging is the product, and that pouch is the packaging is the product.
Being forced to poke the straw through that tiny hole develops your fine motor skills.
By the way, those bottles are likely to target adults who think a juice box may feel childish, although we disagree. Now, Yetis, funny thing. Jack and I are actually really glad for this headline because over the weekend, we jumped in TBOY style and we learned a lot more about Capri Sun's business.
They invented the juice pack.
Yeah, Capri Sun invented the juice pack.
Capri Sun goes way back to post-World War II Germany, when a man named Rudolf Wild created Germany's first branded juice company.
Now, this Mr. Wild saw an opportunity in the market, didn't he, Jack?
Portable drinks for kids that you could bring to the playground.
Because bringing milk to the playground kind of sucks for everybody.
So their innovation was a metallic pouch. It was lightweight, it was durable, and it extended the juice's shelf life, just like canned fruit gets extended in a metal can.
And having traveled to Italy, Rudolf Wild decided to name the product Capri.
It's named after the Isle of Capri, not the Capri Pants.
Which lent itself to some fun island imagery for the kids, but also a nice brand association for the adults who probably did a honeymoon in Capri.
So, Capri Sun grew for 2 decades as a European-only product, and then the business exploded when America's Kraft Heinz bought the U.S. distribution rights.
And get this, today, Capri Sun now controls 70% of the packaged juice market.
It's the 3rd biggest juice company in the world, and it's based in Germany, where they don't even grow fruit, I don't think.
We're talking about a pouch juice company you grew up with and thought was all American. It's actually European, and Kool-Aid can't even keep up with it.
And this company is still family-owned and family-held by the Wilds in Heidelberg, Germany.
They just legally domiciled it in Switzerland for, the tax reasons.
For tax reasons, yeah. German company, named after Italy, based in Switzerland, sold in America.
You didn't know that about Capri Sun, did you, Alex Max? So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Capri Sun?
Capri Sun is a case study in category design.
Yetis, last year, Jack and I told you about a business strategy of category design. It's a way to beat your competition.
Instead of competing in a space where you're one of many, build a new space where you're the only one.
Well, as a juice company, Capri Sun would have had to compete with Tropicana and Minute Maid and all of those huge juice companies in the market.
But as a juice box company, Capri Sun didn't face any competition for years.
Yeah, Capri Sun, they still made the same product. They just created a new category for that product.
Fruit juice boxes.
So, by pivoting to the pouch, Capri Sun used category design to make it the 3rd biggest juice company in the world.
Even though they're based in a country that doesn't even grow fruit.
Yeah. For our second story, Intel's stock hit its lowest level since 2013, so Intel is considering a bold move.
Intel's considering doing what Apple, Nike, Nvidia, and Hasbro are doing, which is having no factories.
Yetis, last week you were probably at a tailgate. A tailgate for the hottest earnings report on earth.
It was Nvidia, and honestly, they showed the fattest profit margin that Nick and I have ever come across.
Nvidia, for every $1 of sales they bring in, they turn into 50 cents of profit.
That's a 50% profit margin. Unheard of.
No, it's never been heard of.
And its gross profit margin is even better, 75%.
Now, the big reason why Nvidia is such a profitable company, what is it, Jack?
They don't manufacture their own chips.
Yeah, Nvidia, the ultimate chip company of our generation, just designs the chips.
And then they send that chip design to a company like Taiwan Semiconductor, who actually makes the chips and ships them to customers.
So what Jack and I are saying, Yetis, is that NVIDIA has no cost associated with the sale of their legendary computer chips.
They only have revenue associated with the sale of a chip, which becomes pure profit.
Now, that context is really important for what Jack and I are about to tell you, right, Jack?
Intel, the iconic American computer chip company, wants what she's having.
Yeah, straight out of Harry Met Salady. I'll have those chips. How are you having them?
Intel's operating margin is less than half of what NVIDIA's is, and Intel didn't make any profit at all last quarter.
Well, the reason partly why is because Intel designs and produces their own computer chips.
Intel does not outsource the manufacturing like so many super valuable tech companies do.
Now, the fact that Intel has factories which employ a lot of Americans, that has made it the love of the United States government.
The Biden administration loves Intel because it's trying to make chips here in the United States.
And that's why Intel is getting $8.5 billion in federal subsidies to build more factories in places like Ohio.
But that strategy of building and owning your own factories for Intel, it's just not working.
Intel stock is down 60% this year to an 11-year low.
Maybe Intel is so distracted with new factories in Ohio that they're not focusing on the key thing: designing cutting-edge chips.
Like, Jack, Intel may be too inside the factory right now to be focusing on the right things that they should be focusing on right now.
They should be focusing on chips for AI. But honestly, they're completely missing the boat on that.
So, besties, here's the latest update. Intel has a new plan to reverse this troubling situation.
According to reporting from Bloomberg, they're thinking about splitting the company into two.
One would be a high-profit design company, and the other would be a low-profit manufacturing company.
It's not confirmed. They might not end up doing it. But if they do, Intel would be following a trend.
And if they do, Intel would be inspired by Nike. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies over at Intel?
Asset light means profit heavy.
Yetis, it's interesting that the most valuable hotel company, Airbnb, actually owns 0 hotels.
And the most valuable taxi company, Uber, actually owns 0 taxis.
In fact, if you broaden out from just the tech industry, with few exceptions, the most profitable companies in America don't actually produce stuff themselves.
Nike, for example, they own 0 factories. They outsource all of their shoe production to third-party factories in low-cost countries.
Apple's hardware is designed in California, but made in China by Foxconn, a different company.
Even Hasbro has 100 different third-party factories they use to make the toys.
Oh, that Stretch Armstrong toy you got the other day wasn't made by a Hasbro factory.
The result of all this outsourcing of the manufacturing? Fat profit margins that investors love.
And those fat profit margins are easiest to produce when you don't produce physical things.
Right. That's why asset light so often means profit heavy.
And Intel investors, they want in on that. Hey Yetis, if you're a bestie, take a sec and hit that subscribe button.
And like this video while you're at it. If you leave a comment, by the way, we'll read it.
For our third and final story, America is facing its worst listeria outbreak in over a decade, and it's all because of one company, Boar's Head Deli Meats.
Boar's Head is having its Boeing moment.
Now, Jack, before we jump into this story, I think it's important that you share your go-to deli order. What are you hitting at the bodega these days, or before?
Lightly toasted sourdough. Not too toasted because I don't want to scratch the top of my mouth.
Yeah, I can tell this is a long order already.
Turkey, iceberg lettuce for the crunch.
Okay.
Pickles.
Okay. I like texture.
Mayonnaise, salt and pepper.
Longer than your skincare routine.
Maybe some banana peppers if I'm feeling feisty.
I was going to say pastrami and melted Swiss, and then I'm out of there. Yetis, Boar's Head Meats. Pretty much the only brand in cold cuts has been the hottest company in cold cuts.
It's also the only logo with a tongue sticking out.
Yeah, which I know disturbs you, Jack.
Besides the Rolling Stones.
Jack and I jumped in TBOY style to the company, and Boar's Head is doing about $2 billion in annual revenue.
And they have 50% of the deli meat premium market.
Now, that's a big deal because the cold cut industry goes actually back to the Roman Empire when, like, Julius Caesar would require meats to be smoked and prepared.
What is a cold cut?
What Julius Caesar liked to eat, Jack. But Boar's Head was actually founded in Brooklyn in 1905.
And they've been branding their huge hunks of deli ham with the Boar's Head logo ever since. And I mean branding literally.
Literally. But here's the news, Yetis. Boar's Head is now the source of the largest listeria bacteria outbreak in 14 years.
Listeria, it's serious. A foodborne bacterial illness that can be lethal.
Now, this outbreak is mostly on the East Coast, and as of last week, there have been 60 hospitalizations and 9 deaths, sadly.
It's become lethal. So, if you have Boar's Head or Old Country branded meat in your fridge, you got to toss that turkey.
It doesn't matter which one you have, toss that turkey in the trash.
But Yetis, we've been covering business for a while.
And we have.
Food outbreaks, recalls of defective products, they happen. You hope as infrequently as possible, but it is a part of business.
But the wild part about this story isn't just the scale, it's the drama around specifically Boar's Head.
We've never seen a report like the one the USDA wrote about Boar's Head's factories.
All right, Jack, could you share some of the details from the USDA report of that factory?
Regulators found green algae growth, mold as big as a quarter, which just sounds gross.
USDA inspectors even described ants crawling up the wall at the Boar's Head meat factory.
It sounds like a literal garbage dump. And it's a place that's making our food.
Now, the other shocking element is that the USDA had been warning Boar's Head for months to clean up their act at this Virginia factory.
But apparently they didn't. So that Virginia factory led to a recall of 7 million pounds of Boar's Head products.
In fact, doctors actually traced the bacteria in one sick patient to a Boar's Head liverwurst made at that factory.
So for Boar's Head, they depend on you saying, I want Boar's Head turkey, not that unbranded turkey.
That is literally what their advertisements are about.
This huge dent to their reputation could be existential.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Boar's Head?
There's a new way to describe this crisis. This is Boar's Head's Boeing Moment.
Yetis, a huge business story this year, the fall of Boeing, once America's world-leading, top-trusted airplane company.
Then came multiple Boeing crashes, a door blew off mid-flight, and recently they even had that failed space mission, leaving astronauts up in space.
Behind it all, countless reports of a company whose culture had rotted from the inside, so we didn't see it from the outside.
Until more recently. Boeing represents a company that was #1 in the industry, #1 in sales, #1 in brand reputation.
But they lost it all after they became complacent, they cut corners, and they put short-term profits over long-term quality.
It feels like what's happening to Boar's Head is the exact same story.
Yeah, it does. Just like Boeing, Boar's Head now appears to have gotten complacent, have rested on their industry-leading laurels, and have cut corners and let that culture decay.
And it took a disaster for us to realize how bad it's gotten.
So Yetis, the way Jack and I see it, there's now a new way to describe this exact kind of crisis.
Boar's Head is having its Boeing moment.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways to welcome us back from the weekend?
Capri Sun is reportedly adding bottles to the lineup to target adults in addition to their famous pouches.
Capri Sun's founding was the perfect example of category design. They created a new category, not juice, the juice box.
For our second story, it's Intel. They're reportedly considering splitting the company in two. One high-profit chip design company, one low-profit manufacturing company.
And this would be following a major trend in American capitalism. Asset light to become profit heavy.
And our third and final story, America's biggest listeria outbreak in a decade, originated at a dirty Boar's Head meat factory.
This is Boar's Head's Boeing Moment.
But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
In the most awkward menage a trois we've ever seen, 3 of the most valuable companies in the world are all clawing to invest in OpenAI.
OpenAI, you know it as the leader in artificial intelligence. They made ChatGPT, and they're 49% owned by Microsoft.
But now Apple and NVIDIA are now trying to participate in OpenAI's next fundraise.
Which means Microsoft and Apple would co-own a company, even though those two kind of hate each other.
It's like Spider-Man and evil Spider-Man teaming up to fight the same enemy. We've never seen this before. And second, another piece of data shows us that inflation is cooling down.
Last Friday, the Personal Consumption Index showed that prices are up 2.5% in this economy compared to last year.
That's not far off from the 2% that's considered the sweet spot for healthy economic inflation.
And it's another sign that the Fed will feel comfortable finally cutting interest rates this month.
Do you remember the 17th night of September? And finally, during our recording, Elon Musk's X got banned in Brazil by the Brazilian government.
Elon ignored court orders to suspend certain accounts. He did so on free speech grounds.
And Brazil even seized assets of SpaceX, another Elon Musk company, to pay for the fines that they levied against Elon's X.
It's a highly unusual situation. You basically have the president of Brazil in a public spat against the president of X, Elon Musk.
And in the meantime, if you're in Rio, you cannot tweet from the beach. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one whipped up by Jack and me because we noticed it in our Capri Sun research and we couldn't wait to share it with you.
Hans Peter Wild, the descendant of Rudolph Wild, is now the owner of Capri Sun, the company we were just talking about.
His father invented the Capri Sun juice packs, and now he owns the company.
As a sign of appreciation for the U.S. Army winning World War II and freeing Germany from Hitler's grip, he made a $16 million donation to the United States Marines.
And that's right. The German owner of Capri Sun donated $16 million to the U.S. Marines for liberating Germany.
Kind of a cool detail about Capri Sun.
It is a cool detail. That is. Actually, it wasn't even our only cool detail about Capri Sun.
There's a lot of cool details about Capri Sun. Oh, also, I just looked it up. Germany does grow some fruit. Mostly apples and berries.
Germany. Apparently, you can't eat more than pretzels and beer and chocolate. Yetis, you look fantastic on your way back to work, whether you're wearing shorts or whether you're not wearing cargo shorts.
Let us know if you think shorts should be worn in the office, and then let your office mates know about this show.
Tell your best coworker buddy, HYH TBOY. That's how we grow T-Boy.
Have you had the best one yet?
If you know, you know.
Nick and I will see you tomorrow.
Can't wait. And before we go, congratulations to Yeti's Emily Osborne and Robert Norris in Lodi, California, who just got married over the weekend. Guys, let's see some of those pics.
Happy 2-year wedding anniversary to Rima and Sean down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Celebrating the Great Smoky Mountains and Dollywood. And a 40th birthday to Nirav Patel in Cupertino, California. His 7-year-old son, Viraj, is listening to T-Boy right now.
Happy birthday to Veronica Lynn in San Francisco, who's a Yeti since 2021.
Yeah, it's a hat trick, baby. And Martina Montemoro in Milan, Italy, has got a new job. Brava and complimenti.
Happy 18th birthday to Owen in Boulder, Colorado, who's the president of his business club. This is an entrepreneur in the making.
Owen, let's get you reelected next year. And Kaden Ma is turning 17 in Los Altos, California, organizing her first ever high school investment competition. And they're probably up right now. I imagine their investments are up.
What a bunch of go-getter Yetis. This is amazing. Happy 30th birthday to Matt Byer in Houston, Texas.
Now, Matt won't admit it, but his girlfriend did get him into T-Boy. She's the one who sent him the link to the podcast. We should point that out.
He didn't find it organically himself, apparently.
Sorry, Matt. We got to give the girlfriend all the credit on this one.
And to anyone else who's celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. I own stock of Intel. Nick owns stock of Nike. And we both own stock of Apple. I don't know if someone's going to fact check me on that fruit thing, but I'd be surprised if Germany grew serious fruit.
Yeah, I think it's like a berry nation at most. Ain't no citrus above that Bavarian border.